Welcome again to the workshop of Wood Spun Round. This is Doug. It is good to have you in the shop with me again today. I've got a piece of oak there that I'm turning with a 1/2-inch skew. This is for the hashtag Festive Skew Challenge 2023. Richard Findley puts this up every year, and I was glad to see it come up this year and wanted to take my stab at it. This is a oak pen blank that I cut myself. It came out of a church pew that was given to me. I've still got quite a number of these blanks already cut, plus a whole big section of the seat portion of this pew that was given to me. Anyway, turning it down with this 1/2-inch skew. This is a Doug Thompson skew. I really like it. In Richard's video, he said use your favorite skew. Well, that's what I've got here. This little 1/2-inch skew does a fantastic job. And right there, I'm just doing a bit of a peeling cut there at the chuck end. This will be the bottom end of this little icicle that we're going to turn. Richard gave kind of the design idea, and everybody's kind of following that idea, but it's basically to their understanding. He did not give any measurements or anything like that, so it's left up to the turner, to their imagination, their likes or dislikes. So here we are, just getting it round right now. Excuse me. You can still see there's a couple of little small flat areas, and so we're just taking another couple of passes. We're going to get this nice and round, and then we'll start turning the design into it. The whole idea of this challenge is simply to get turners to use the skew. Skew is one of the most misunderstood tools in our arsenal. Most every turner has a skew, but it's amazing how many turners either never pick it up or they use it as a scraper only. I have known a couple of turners who use a skew, but they don't use it for its intended purpose. They don't even use it as a scraper. They use it for something else. We're not even going to talk about that today. But the skew is a wonderful tool. It does take some practice. It does take some getting used to, even a little instruction. One of the keys is to have that edge razor sharp. Most of our tools, we want them sharp, but not scary sharp like we want the skew. So this one has been sharpened on the CBN wheel, and then it was also honed on a diamond stone. And so that's where I start with this tool, and you can see it's cutting this oak very easily. So I'm not having any troubles as of right now. It's never too late. I can have troubles at the very end. In fact, I do have a little trouble at the very end, but it's not anything that I can't overcome. Just a little bit of a V-groove there. This is going to be a second element. You see the top element there. It's not exactly a ball, but it's a sphere-ish top. That's where the screw eye will go into. And into that, we'll have a piece of ribbon or a piece of colored string, something that will hook then onto the tree. This is more of a kind of a bobbin area. It'll kind of V down from each side into the bottom or into the center of this element. But I want it to be not straight lines, but actually slightly curved, concave curved lines going down to the center of this bobbin area. And yes, the skew can do a curved line, a concave curve. The convex curve you see at the top, and it will become even more of a curve than what it is by the time I'm finished. But right here, we're doing just a little bit of a concave. It doesn't have to be deep. I didn't want it to be deep. In fact, the skew is not good at going deep. That's what gouges are for. Whether I use the spindle gouge or a bowl gouge, if I wanted a deep cove in this area, that's what I would use. This was a skew challenge, and Richard's was kind of a shallow cove, and I'm going after a shallow cove as well. Just taking my time. Looks like I'm preparing now for the lower section, this long third section, which is really the icicle section of it. Opening up the V-cut there. Looks like maybe I'm flattening out, defining the groove between the ball at the top and this the spool area. In fact, I come back at the very end and clean the top and the bottom of the spool even more as I start to sand, because it's just not quite as clean as I want it to be. Again, just some V-cuts just to define the bottom end, and it gives me a place to taper down to. When I get to the bottom, it releases from the wood so that all my shavings go away instead of building up right there. Kind of hard to explain if you're not a turner, but if you're a turner, you understand exactly what I'm saying. So I'm just working on tapering this down. I'm not going down to nothing, but I'm going down to a pretty small little spindle at the bottom end. I want to round this top just a little more. Back to tapering. I'm noticing, I don't know if you notice it or not, but there's a little bit of a wave in the picture. I'm not sure what's causing that, other than it might be my lights. If there were people moving around upstairs, that would be one explanation, but there was nobody moving at the time of this filming, and so I can't blame anybody else. So maybe the lights. It was a little bit cool in the shop as I was turning this. This was fairly early in the morning. Only person home besides myself was my son, and he was not over me. He was on the other end of the house. There, that's that cleaning up that ball, making it rounder, and also cleaning up the spool that I was talking about earlier. Just a couple little lines there that I wanted to get out. Going back the other way, getting the top round and starting to prepare for cutting that top off as well. One of the nice things of the skew is that it gives you a very clean cut, so it doesn't take a whole lot of sanding if you've made a nice clean cut. So that's what I was doing there, was just cleaning that icicle just a little further. Again, preparing that cut on the top end, so there's not a lot to do. Cutting a couple lines. I'm going to burn 2 lines into the spool area. Tool rest out of the way, get my burning wire. And you'll notice I've taken the wire and put it through a couple of small blocks. I use those as handles, holding the handles on the sides. I just put a little pressure. The lathe running about 1500 RPMs. A little bit of pressure, and just be patient, and that will heat up, and you'll see the smoke, When you see the smoke, you know your line has been burned. There we are. Time for a little sanding. Not going to show you very much of the sanding, just that I do actually get the sandpaper out. You barely saw it there. Sanded up to 320. This is a little spray-on sanding sealer. It's lacquer base. I'm sorry I turned it upside down. But I do the same thing. I've got Axe abrasive paste that I'm going to use. And, that label is upside down. And after that, I use the wax as well. And again, the label will be upside down. Never did get it right on this one. But I ended up having to do most of this by hand. I made my pre-cuts just a little bit small. And I don't know that I show you or not, but this is going to pop out here in just half a second. Well, I didn't show you. But as soon as I started to put a little pressure on it with my paper towel, it popped off of both of those ends. So finished buffing out the abrasive paste by hand. Now I'm doing the wax by hand, and I'll do the hole for the screw eye with the handheld drill as well. But it works out. It works out just fine. And there you have it. One drop spindle for the Festive Skew 2023 challenge. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This is Doug at Wood Spun Round. Till we meet again, I hope you're able to spin them round.